Hey guys, welcome to this lecture. So now we will see the SSL decryption policy, how you can configure the forward proxy, right? So to do that, we need to first generate the certificates, right? Because we will be modifying the certificate chain to do the proxy. So root C is already there, right? Similarly, we need to generate another certificate which we will be using for decryption. So let me just give it a name, intermediate CA. Common name, this is going to be lab.local. Yeah, let's do one thing. This certificate is for cybersec.local, a different domain. Let's generate a different root CA. Certificate name lab root CA, right? Common name lab.local. Certificate authority and DNS name star.lab.local wildcard generate. Now we will generate and let's make it trusted root CA. Now we will have another certificate intermediate CA. Common name ICMA dot lab dot local signed by lab root CA, and this is going to be certificate authority as well. Generate, and we will make it trusted trust certificate. So this particular chain will be used to modify the server certificate chain which we are going to receive from the server, right? And it will help us to implement the forward proxy. Similarly, we need to alert the user as well whether they are visiting the correct website or not. So certificate name untrust certificate. So common name untrust dot lab dot local signed by lab root CA certificate authority generate, and we will forward this certificate to the user. Oh, we should not sign it with lab root, otherwise we won't our user won't be able to identify whether he is making the connection with the secure website or not. So let's give it a name again, untrust cert. Common name untrust dot lab dot local, and we are not going to sign it. That's the reason user browser must get alert if he tries to make connection with a unsecure website. So forward untrust certificate, right? So these are the three things you need to do. Then what you need to do, go to objects. You can also create a decryption profile. So we have the default one where, for SSL forward proxy. So you have SSL forward proxy inbound protocol settings, then no decryption SSH proxy. So inside SSL decryption, we are going with the SSL forward proxy, and these are the server certificate verifications, right? So in default, it is like nothing selected, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to create our own profile. So decrypt prod decrypt prod profile. Okay. Now in forward proxy, block sessions with expired certificate. So if we user are going to make connection with with websites whose certificate has been expired, we should block the connection. With untrusted issuers, we should block the connection. With unknown certificate status, we should block the connection. You can do it at firewall end, or you can just remove it. The user browser will give them the alert. Okay, so you can select the action. So with expired certificates, untrusted issuers. So right now we are keeping it default because we have generated that untrust certificate so that user can get the warning. We will verify that. Once we will verify that, then we will enable these things. So user will won't be able to see the warning messages as well. Their connections will be right away terminated by the firewall. Then unsupported mode checks, failure checks, client extension, right? So although we can block it and initially we will apply the default profile, then we will apply this particular profile. And block session if resource not available, downgrade, no, kind of, no. Then unsupported versions, this is for inbound and this is protocol setting, minimum version, maximum version, key exchange algorithms. If you wanna if you wanna mandate any particular algorithm, you can just select that and remove others. So if it is negotiating on this exchange algorithm, then only it will be allowed. Otherwise, rest of these two will be dropped. So let's make it. And then encryption will be like which particular encryption and authentication protocols you need to use, right? So click OK and go to policies, decryption, and here you need to click on add decrypt rule, right? So, in a normal production practice, it is recommended not to decrypt your health website data, not to decrypt your finance related data, right? So you can create the no decrypt rule with such categories. So first we will create the no decrypt rule. So no decrypt rule, source, my zone will be trust, address will be LAN subnet, my destination will be untrust, any address, any device, and URL category will be like finance. I'm not going to decrypt financial services. Health services, I'm not going to decrypt. Okay, so these two in option, action will be no decrypt, type SSL forward proxy, and you can apply the default profile. And you can log the unsuccessful SSL handshake. And if you have any log forwarding profile configured, you can send it to that. We'll do it later on when we have panorama. So for time being, just keep it okay. Now create the decrypt rule. So decrypt rule, source, traffic coming from trust from this subnet, destination, untrust, and it will be any, right? Decrypt, SSL forward proxy, and right now we are just keeping default. Okay, so commit, and now what you need to do is you need to install that root certificate in this machine. Then only your decryption will work without warning. Otherwise, whenever you will open up any warning, your user will get the that security warning that connection to this website is not secure and all that. So now to install that certificate here, what I need to do is I need to enable HTTP service on this particular interface. Let's do one thing. In interface management, we have this particular profile, HTTP, HTTPS, and ping response pages. Okay, so let's give it a name, MGMT only, and let's go back to the interface and apply this newly created profile on this interface. Oh, this is our outside uh, on this trust interface. So my profile is going to be MGMT only. Yeah. So now you can do the commit. So what we are going to do is we are going to open up this web GUI of the firewall inside this uh, laptop, and then we will be able to export the certificate and install it here. So let's wait for the commit to complete. Okay, so commit is almost complete. Let's go here and try to open up the web UI of the firewall in this machine so that we can export the certificate here, right? And then you will see we can apply all the layer 7 profiles, security profiles, and they will work seamless, right? You can have file blocking in place, you can have antivirus in place, okay? So 10.2.2.1. So let's log in. I mean, this is quite irritating, this machine is quite slow. But again, we have to wait for it because it's like a VM running on this Eve. So we cannot do anything. So let's wait, advance. So you can see that we got this warning, although here now we are not getting any warning. Reason being that that root certificate was installed in my trusted root certificate store of this laptop, so I'm not getting any warning. So similarly, we need to install the root certificate, which we will be using for decryption. Otherwise, your LAN users will get the security warnings like this, not secure, and which is not a good way, you know, to do the changes because you will be flooded with IT tickets right after it. So you need to make sure that you are implementing the changes correctly and they should not have any production impact. Okay, uh, might be password error. So let me just verify the password. Yeah, it is different. Oh, again, wrong password. When you start using these password management tools, so it becomes really difficult to remember your passwords, right? Because you set the complex one and then you forget those passwords. So now creating administrative session. So all we need to do is we just need to export that root certificate into this machine, install it right away, and then we are good to test our decryption whether it is working or not, right? So right now if you see certificate is not valid, so dc1.cybersec.local, uh, you know so let me just, not looking good. So we need to bear this slowness. It's taking time. So basically, whenever you generate certificates, so you do get option. If you select this, it gives you an option to export this certificate. So you can export it in a plane with the, without private keys, and you can export it with private keys as well. So if you want to do the SSL decryption in Wireshark, then you can export it with the private keys. And in the advanced course, this is what we do. We have covered the troubleshooting for each topic at daemon level so that you don't stuck anywhere, right from the deployment till advanced level. So we have the courses available now. So let's wait for this web page to load properly. Meanwhile, I'm pausing the video and then we will resume. Okay, so now the GUI is loaded properly. Uh, let's go and export the certificate right away. Do not show this message. So right away go to device, go to certificates. Now select our certificate, export, okay, and done. Double click on it and install it. Open, install certificate, next. Place it inside the trusted root certificate authorities. Next, next, done. Okay, cool. So now you can log out from here and now you can see whether decryption is working or not. So if I go to my policy rules, so you should be able to see the hit counts if your rules are taking hit, right? So it has started taking hit. It means it is working. So let me just pull up this machine and let's visit cisco.com. And you can also verify the logs. Go to monitor, go to decryption, and you will be able to see, you know, which application, policy name, right? Source, destination, proxy type, source address, so root status, subject common name, issuer common name, all these details you will be able to see here. TLS version, key exchange, encryption, all that, right? So received fatal error unknown, certificate unknown from client. So all these details you will see. So if I go back here, if you click connection is secure, certificate is valid. I mean, here I'm not able to load the certificates properly. I don't know what is wrong with this browser. Okay, it is coming. So common name you can see ICMA lab.local. This is our intermediate certificate, right? So now you can see the certificate chain is getting modified. If I will open up Cisco here, so you will see a different certificate chain in my system because nobody is decrypting the session. So here is the hydrant, but now we are able to see IMCA lab.local. But if you go and visit any banking website, SDFC Bank, so you will see that that will take no decrypt rule hit, right? So and we will not modify the certificate chain. So this no decrypt rule will take hit for that. So right now there are 0 hit counts. But the moment you are going to visit this SDFC bank, so we have bypassed the financial services from our decryption. So you will see that we are not going to modify the chain for this. So if you click connection is secure and if you check the issuer, So here you will be able to see the exact issuer details, Geo Trust, right? From DigiCert. So we are not decrypting the connection. And if you refresh, you will see hit counts here. So just wait. So you can see hit counts, right? So now we have enabled the decryption and it is working as expected. So you can see whatever traffic is getting decrypted, the rule name and the zones. Now if you go back here and let me try visit facebook.com and let's see how it works now. So do we get the response pages like we have configured, or it will be simply like blocked? So you're getting a response page and it is telling that this is not secure, right? Because you're getting a response page. Social networking. So if you click continue, so it will say, okay, I mean, now we have a log that we presented the page to the user, but that user clicked on continue, so we allowed the access. I mean, right now we have not done the user integration with the firewall, so we are not able to see the actual username. We are just able to see the IP addresses. Once you have integrated your Active Directory with the firewall and we have enabled this user ID, you will be able to see the usernames as well, right? So now you can see that action was continue, so we allowed it, but the log has been captured that user visited that particular website. Okay, so Facebook open it up. Similarly, Tinder is blocked. So if I will try to visit Tinder, so now I mean your URL filtering is not only dependent on SNI, but now it is actually doing the deep inspection on your packets, and right away you can see web page blocked. It was not coming earlier, right? So when you enable the decryption, you get more granular control on your internet traffic, right? So this is blocked now. Similarly, let's verify the categories which were configured to just generate the alert. So URL filtering and alert, online storage and backup. Okay, so let's go to Google. And if you feel like that, the category of this particular website is not correct, you can also check with Palo Alto. So if you click here, you will get option to request a categorization change. And if you click on it, so it will ask you to fill out this page and you can email them and you can suggest the category, correct category of that particular, website. They will review it and they will get back. Okay, so now, so I just forgot what was the alert category. Let me recheck. So alert. Okay, online storage. So let's open a box, cloud storage company, and let's see do we get any alert. If user is going to visit box, so do they get any alert? So web page blocked, medium risk. Okay, this got blocked due to category has been configured, I mean detected as medium risk. So this was not, detected properly. The category didn't, you know, detect it properly. So that's the reason. Now let's try any other Google Drive. So it's all about the categories. If categories are detected properly, I mean, there is a mechanism in Palo Alto. So we have data plane cache, we have management plane cache. Then back and forth they communicate with the cloud servers from where these categories are getting updated, right? So if you want to deep dive into the backend process, then you can enroll to our advanced course. So let's go to drive.google.com and let's see what happens. So again, it is considered as medium risk. So let's do one thing for alert. Let's do phishing. We are blocking ransomware. We are blocking weapons. We have set to alert. Okay. Let's do one thing. Quickly modify this and social networking. Let's make it or streaming. Let's make it alert. Streaming. So let's make it alert. Done. And how to set these user credentials. So just go to device, go to setup, and in content ID, you have this URL admin override, right? So you can define the details here, confirm password, right? So if you wanna add, you wanna delete, you can do that. Okay. So if you click here, URL continue timeout, and then URL admin override. So you can just select this. You can define the password, and if any SSL TLS service profile is there, because if you remember when we got redirected, that web page was not secure. I mean, if I will visit Facebook, so we are getting redirected from this particular IP, right? And user then got that particular continue page, but user was not able to trust. I mean, user's browser was not able to trust that particular connection. So that was the reason we got that alert in the browser that not secure. So if you want to attach any SSL TLS profile, so you can do that from here, right? And you can select the mode. You want to keep it transparent or you want to redirect it to a particular address. If you have any particular web, proxy hosted or any sort of website hosted where you would like to redirect the user, you can do that. So this is how you can configure the password for your URL admins. Okay, so they can do the override. So let's do commit. So if I will visit twitter.com, so you will see that I will be prompted with continue page, you know, and that redirection is not secure right now because you have not attached any SSL TLS profile so that it can give the correct certificate chain. It is using the system certificate which your browser doesn't trust. So you can see not secure coming here. So if you want to update this, you can attach the appropriate certificate. Okay. And then you are getting this continue button. Okay. So we have updated the streaming category with alert. So if you go to monitor, so here you will see that we will get the alert messages. Right now it is block, 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 right? Initially Twitter got blocked, block and continue, but user didn't click on continue, so the web page was not displayed. Otherwise, uh, user would have got the web page. So almost done. So now let's try to visit YouTube and see do we get any alert. So now you will see that after decryption enabled, things have started working very good because now your getting ability to do deep inspection on your sessions, right? So deep inspection cannot be enabled if you don't do SSL decryption. You have to be sure that you are doing that. Then only you will be able to get granular control. In the next lecture, we will see, you know, security rules with app ID, how you can get more granular control instead of blocking the entire YouTube. Can I block YouTube streaming only? I mean, only website will be able to open up, but videos will not run, right? So these are the stuffs you can do. And you can see here streaming media low risk, and we have started getting alerts. Action alert, alert, alert. Okay. So we are getting the alerts. So this is how you can configure the actions, right? And now moving to the next profiles. So in the previous lecture, we were not able to configure the profiles properly because of the decryption. So now in antivirus, you can click on add. You can set the action, whatever you want to do. So let's say for SMTP, I would like to reset both if any virus is defined detected. So antivirus prod profile. So reset both, reset both. Then we have this SMB traffic POP3 IMAP. So you can configure it as per your requirement. So like for FTP we have reset both, HTTP reset both, HTTP2 reset both. And if you want to create any exception for any application, so you have the Applipedia from Palo Alto. This is the database of the applications. You can put them in exception if you want to put any exception for any particular website or any application. So you can do that. You can define the action what you need to do. Okay. So we don't have any exception. Then signature exceptions. So if you have any threat ID, threat name, you can click on add here. You can add. So you can get those threat IDs over Google or in the review. So you can see that in the previous video in one of the lecture I have told you how you when you are activating your signatures, so you can review the latest changes. Then this is the inline machine learning, right? So these are the machine learning engines which dynamically detect your malicious things, right? This is your wildfire inline engine and it works dynamically. Okay. So this is how you can create your antivirus profile. Then anti-spyware, so we have default, we have strict. So in strict, it's like the signature policy, simple critical, severity critical, action is reset both, simple high, simple medium, simple information, simple low. Accordingly, the actions have been defined, right? Then you can create these signature exceptions, your DNS policies, right? Ad tracking domains, Benet domains, Graveyard domains, right? These are the strict settings which are allowed, and you can create your DNS sinkholes as well. So here we are using Palo Alto sinkhole, sinkhole.paloaltonetworks.com. Then DNS exceptions, okay? So these things you can use. Then vulnerability protection. So again, we have strict and default. You can create your own as well. So again, in strict, it's like rule name, simple client, critical threat, any CV, any host type client, severity critical. So my action is reset both, right? Then if severity is high, I will reset the connection. Medium, reset both. Informational default, low default, critical, reset both. So basis on your criticality or severity, we have defined the actions, right? You cannot make changes to these predefined profiles. You can create your own profile, and then accordingly you can add the rules, So any CV, any vendor, right? If criticality, right? You can give it a name. Let's say I want to give client rule, threat name, any, action, reset both, host type, any, or you can slide. We are making it for client, so client, CV, any, vendor ID, any, criticality, any, packet, single packet capture, category. So you can add the category, brute force, code execution, right? Exploit kit, all these things, SQL injection. So any category. If you click OK, this rule will be created here, right? So we will apply the strict category. Then comes file blocking. So basic file blocking where these file types are blocked, right? And then we have strict file blocking where almost every file type is blocked, right? So you can see direction both action block, and for other files it is alert. So we'll try downloading 7-zip, we will try downloading exe file, right? We'll see and we will check whether we are able to download the exe files from the internet, right? Or archive files from the internet. We will apply this rule as well. Then we have wildfire analysis. So it is like we are sending it to the public cloud. So for any file whose signature is not known to our database, what you need to do is you need to send it to public cloud, right? So you can define the applications, you can define the file type, and you can send it to the cloud for the analysis. Then we have this data filtering. So we will uh, discuss this later on. Then we have this DOS protection. So we will also discuss this, right? So meanwhile, let's go back to our policy, go back to the security rule and go to internet access, action, antivirus. We will go with the default one. So prod profile, strict, spyware, strict, URL prod, file blocking, strict, data filtering, wildfire default, right? Okay. After enabling so many profiles on it, now we have implemented the deep inspection. So what will happen? Now packets will go inside the CTD module. Earlier, what was happening, since everything was encrypted, these were SSL sessions, my firewall was not able to get the granular control of the session, and app ID was getting identified as SSL for not well-known websites. If you are making connection to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, these are well-known websites. So application was able to be identified as YouTube base, Facebook base, right? But now we will get more granular control. If you are doing Facebook chat, it will identify it as Facebook chat. If you are uploading any video, it will identify it as Facebook upload. Similarly, if you are posting any post on LinkedIn, it will be able to identify it as post. So we will cover that part as well, right? So for time being, this is how we configure the vulnerability profiles, and you can review the signatures anytime. So whatever database you have activated, right? So if you go back to your dynamic updates and if you see your signatures, antivirus, so you can go to the release notes, you can go through the updates, right? So these are the updates and signatures updated in this version. Similarly, for application and threats, also you can go to the release notes, you can check it out. What are the threat IDs, their severities, attack name, CV ID, category, right? And default action. So these are the things which you can go for. Okay, so this is almost done, and now let's try to download the file. So we will download VLAN VLC player. So if you try downloading it, it won't let you do that because now we have strict file blocking in place. So if you download VLC for Windows, it will not let you do that. And for these features to work properly, you need to enable SSL decryption. I'm repeating this thing again and again. Reason being that people don't enable SSL decryption and then they expect deep inspection to happen. So these features will not work until unless you configure SSL decryption. So if you now try downloading VLC, it will not allow to download the executable file. So your download should not start ideally. And if you go to firewall, if you go to monitor and if you go to traffic, video LAN session aged out TCP fin, right? So let's see if the file download has started. So I don't think download had started. If not, click here. Let's try to do it again. So the download is not starting. You can also verify the download folder whether we are getting any file. So in downloads, no new file, right? So it will keep on scrolling like that, right? And it will not work. Similarly, if you try visiting badssl.com, now we have decryption in place. So far we have just applied the default profile. So now just to check it out whether everything is working properly or not. So there is a website to check how your configured policies are working. So if you go to bad SSL, it will give you option to try multiple things like you can make connection with expired certificate websites, untrusted certificate websites, and you can see whether your user browsers are getting warnings or not. If they are not getting warnings or if their connections are getting, you know, passed securely. So accordingly, you can modify your decryption policy. And that's the only reason we created three certificates, right? So two certificates for trusted websites, another certificate for untrusted websites. So basically this certificate verification, how firewall is doing it. So if you go to device and if you go to certificates, if you see default trusted certificate authority, so certificate, I mean these trusted certificate authorities are also presented in firewall, right? And on this basis, firewall is also verifying whether the user is making connection to a particular website is secure or not. And accordingly, it is taking decision, do I need to forward this certificate chain or do I need to forward this certificate, right? So if firewall is not able to verify the certificate chain for any server, then it will forward this because we have configured this forward and trust cert, and this certificate is not installed in the user machine, so user will not get any warning. Here you can see that connection is secure because the certificate chain user is getting is already there, icma.lab.local. So root CA we have already installed it. But let me just make connection with untrusted root website. So you will see that user will get the warning in the browser. Your connection is not private, right? So if you check the certificate, here you will see that we will get this untrust.lab.local, and since it is not signed by any valid certificate authority, my user store doesn't have that information, so my browser is giving me the warning, right? You can clearly see here. And if I go back, so if you don't configure this certificate, what will happen? Users won't be getting this type of warning because you will be giving them this forward trust. So user is not known that they are making connection to a bad website, right? So that's the reason, as a best practice, you need to take care in your mind. Otherwise, you can create problem for your LAN users. Similarly, if you want to block such connections, you don't want your users to even get this warning, accidentally they might proceed it. So if you want to do that, you can also do that. So that particular profile which we have created for decryption, right? So we can do that. So you can see we are getting such warnings. So let me just do one thing now. After applying that particular profile which we have created for decryption, you will see user won't get any warning in the browsers. Their connections will be right away blocked. So if I will apply this profile, now their connections will be right away blocked. They will not get any type of warning. So, and you can see that no file download logs. So after this commit, we will do the test again, and we will see whether we are able to make connection with those websites or not. Ideally now firewall should block the connection right away. So if user will try to make connection with any untrusted website, any expired certificate website, that connection should be right away blocked. The web page should not be presented to the user. So if you go and check it out, and meanwhile, this commit is in progress. So this is the application command center where you can see your network activity, thread activity, blocked activity. We will have a detailed discussion on this as well in coming lectures. Basically, you can see what are all the applications active, what is your user activity, right? So right now, we don't have user integration with the firewall, so we are not able to understand the things properly. But you can generate the reports, you can see the threat activities, blocked activities, tunnel activities. So once we are able to configure everything properly, then we will come to this part and we will see what reporting granularity you get from Palo Alto. And this is the indicator which is telling you, you know, it gives a number that how much secure your infrastructure is, So blue, green, red is like highly risky. So basically, it's like if your DNS queries are going out from your infrastructure, that is not secure, right? And there are certain class of applications which should be blocked. Accordingly, it gives you this number, right? If you go to dashboard, you can also have this widget, available. So you can just have top risk applications and application. It is already there, risk factor in last 60 minutes, right? Okay. So job is almost done. So let's try and visit badssl.com again. And if you go to these websites now, so ideally your connection should be terminated from the firewall. This is strange that we are making connection. Untrust. This should not come. Let me just close the browser and open it again. Meanwhile, let's verify what we have kept inside that profile. So block session with expired, untrust issuers, unknown certificates. So session should be blocked. Okay. So badssl.com. So if I will make connection with expired website, mhm, if I go incognito, because it might be possible that it is picking up the pages from the cache, bad SSL, and you can check the logs, monitor, decryption, application incomplete, forward proxy, badssl.com, root status trusted, this is untrusted, and in that case we should not have got the access to the website. Hmm. We are getting this, I think, because we have configured this certificate. So this action is bypassing. So let me just do one thing. Let me remove it and do commit. So let's see. So might be we have defined the function of that certificate. So it is sending us that certificate, right? And that decryption profile is not taking hit, where we have explicitly blocked the connections with such websites. I mean, users should not be able to get this proceed to, website. If you click on advanced, proceed to untrust root badssl.com. If user is going to click on it, okay, then it is getting blocked. Status untrust. Okay, the warning was coming because of the certificate, which we have removed now, right? But if your user is trying to click on it, it is not working. Cool. So because of that action which you have defined, it is working properly. I was coming from the impression that it should block it right away, but it is not doing in that way. So it gives you warning, and if you click on advance, proceed, then it is, you know, so let me just fix the time of this machine. This should be 7. Okay, now my clock is at, no worries. So let's refresh. badssl.com. Job is completed. So now if I visit any untrusted website, untrusted root website, so we are right away getting that certificate error, right? So now it is not giving us that proceed and all that. Reason being that we have removed that certificate forwarding. Okay. So you're right away getting this certificate error and firewall is blocking your connection. If you want to verify it, you just go to monitor decryption and you will be able to verify it. So star.bad SSL, okay, bad untrusted root certificate authority. Okay, so this is how we do decryption and this is how we configure our security profiles. Now in the next video, we will see with the help of the application ID how you can get the granular control on the websites rather blocking them completely. You can get the granular control and you can block these certain applications only. Let's say we will give access to YouTube, but we will block streaming, we will block upload and all that stuff. So thanks for watching this video. In next lecture, we will see this application based rules.